Hello and welcome to everyone following us online today. On behalf of the European Commission and the Portuguese Presidency of the Council of the European Union, the Digital for Development Hub is pleased to welcome you to the high-level online event, 1 Year of Digital EU Response to COVID-19. I am Carlos Carvilsar from the Estonian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as Estonia is an avid supporter of the D4D Hub, it is my honor to facilitate today's event. When posting about our common achievements online, please use the hashtag D4DHub. During the event, we will showcase the Team Europe's joint action, innovative digital projects and lessons learned for the ways forward of the digital Team Europe COVID-19 response worldwide. Today, more than ever, digital technologies are transforming societies and economies around the world at scale. Only if we join forces through the D4D Hub as Team Europe, we can unlock opportunities that digitalization offers and take on global challenges. Through the D4D Hub, we want to make sure our interventions are coherent and scale towards an ecosystem approach that mainstreams digital for different priority areas. Today's event will demonstrate the impressive impact we've had through this approach in just a year. Many of you joined us for the launch of the D4D Hub last December. It was launched by the President of the EU Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, and 4 other European heads of states, a strategic multi-stakeholder platform. Already 11 member states agreed jointly on a common D4D approach that is based on European values. We have joined forces to deliver on these high-level ambitions. We want to foster a human-centric digital transformation that is inclusive and sustainable, building onto local ownership and values-based rulebook of the digital economy. You will hear about these impressive impacts today directly from our high-level speakers. Commissioner Jutta Urpilainen will introduce us to the Team Europe approach in the COVID-19 response. Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, Francisco Andre, will share the perspective of the Portuguese EU Council Presidency. Then we will learn about digital solutions from our different partners, from education and health to surveillance and monitoring. As will be demonstrated, the launch of the D4D Hub marked a shift, inaugurating a new era for a global digital cooperation of Team Europe. Without further ado, I would like to now give the floor to Commissioner Urpilainen for welcoming words.
Dear friends, if the pandemic has taught us anything, it is how crucial digital is in our lives. Team Europe builds partnerships globally with Digital for Development Hub to ensure everyone benefits from the digital transformation. D4D Hub is making headway in bridging the digital divide. It has given critical support for digital connectivity in African, Caribbean and Pacific countries. It has improved access and quality of education and healthcare during this difficult period. Its call for innovative solutions, the Smart Development Hack, received more than 1,000 ideas to tackle COVID challenges. And digital services have helped to monitor the pandemic and reduce disease transmission. These major achievements have come out thanks to Team Europe. Huge thanks goes to the German and Portuguese presidencies. Your commitment has strengthened Team Europe's global engagement in the digital domain. Dear friends, I know more has yet to come. Team Europe has a new window of opportunity. We can promote our digital solutions for the deployment and monitoring of vaccinations. This is a new challenge to which the D4D Hub can contribute. So let's continue working together, taking the D4D Hub to even greater heights.
Thank you to the Commissioner for this message of unity. I am now honored to give the floor to the Portuguese Presidency.
Good morning and thank you for joining us in today's event on Digital for Development. Let me thank Commissioner Jutta Urpilainen for pushing forward this agenda and for sharing her thoughts just now. The timing is right to take stock of 1 year of digital European Union response to COVID-19 and reflect on the future. Looking back on our presidency, let me pick up on 3 points. Firstly, to recall that digital is one of the European Union's top priorities, one that will have an increasing role in our development policy in the years to come. And DICI, Global Europe, which entered into force 2 weeks ago, recognizes the full potential of digitalization as a powerful enabler for sustainable development and inclusive growth. Secondly, digital is closely connected to other key policy priorities, including human development, innovation and job creation. The health and education sectors are especially important. They are key to sustainable recovery efforts in a post-COVID world, as was highlighted in recent Council conclusions on human development. In this regard, let me share with you one of Portugal's success stories. Health for All, Saúde para Todos in Portuguese, is a project funded by Portugal in São Tomé e Príncipe and implemented by a Portuguese NGO. São Tomé, as you all know, is a remote island state with a small population and in need of infrastructure. The best way to deliver on quality health services is through telemedicine in partnership with a Portuguese tech company. This allowed us to train local professionals, exchange knowledge, and schedule appointments for patients in specialized medical areas, all through digital ways. Specialized doctors are now available at the touch of a button. In the past years, over 5,000 clinical sessions took place through telemedicine. This is a fast and cost-efficiency solution. Currently, most patients no longer need to travel in order to be examined by a doctor or to get the right medical treatment. And this is my message. NDICI and Global Europe should enable more innovative projects, such as this one, that deliver to the people. They show what Europe does best in the world. We are tech and economic actor, but also an actor for good, working to improve people's lives every day. And this brings me to my last point. The latest Council conclusions on Team Europe point us in the right direction. United, we are stronger. Ongoing programming and the Team Europe approach are the key. In this spirit, we organized the Digital Day and the Digital Assembly, where we confirmed our commitment to this file in 4 ways. The launch of the Link, a 6,000-kilometer submarine internet cable connecting Portugal to Brazil through Cabo Verde, meaning Europe to South America. The Lisbon Declaration on Digital Democracy, with a purpose, was signed by the 27 member states and seeks to reinforce the human dimension in digital ecosystem. Also, the promotion of digital infrastructure, skills, research and standards with Africa has also advocated in the digital agenda for the community of Portuguese-speaking countries, the CPLP. Dear colleagues, our challenge is to put policy into practice. It is time to deliver through the NDICI programming. Taking advantage of one of the opportunities opened by the Link, we need to take new bold steps to promote international connectivity with Africa. This is why we encourage the Commission to develop a program to develop this connectivity and promote more research and education links between Africa and Europe. As for Portugal, we will continue working with all the Member States and the Commission on D4D, delivering smart and practical solutions to improve people's lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Andre. Following these messages from the Commissioner and the Portuguese Presidency, let me introduce the next section on concrete digital solutions for education and health. Strengthening education and health systems in partner countries is one of the key priorities for the European Union, especially in the recovery from the pandemic. The pandemic's wide-ranging socio-economic impacts in partner countries are still going, especially in Africa. Team Europe ecosystem approach that mainstreams digital within different areas makes sure that no one is left behind, as demonstrated by the following projects. I am happy to give the floor to Jan Kennis, who is lead expert on D4D from Enable, and Jan Schwab, who is head of digital transformation in Africa from GIZ, who will introduce digital solutions for strengthening education and health systems in Africa.
Thank you. So, Resicodi, what's in a name? Well, resilience to COVID-19 through digitalization. We are honored to show you our action today. We are co-funded by the European Union and the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, and we jointly implement at Enable and GIZ. And in a true Team Europe approach, we even matched our names today. So Jan, can you tell me, why is resilience to COVID-19 so important?
Yes, thanks, Jan. Well, the crisis has shown us that we need economies which can better absorb economic shocks, such as the one caused by COVID. So COVID response, from our perspective, means that we now have to focus on building back better, and we see that COVID-19 is another push towards a more digital economy. This goes far beyond the ICT sector. In fact, it is pervasive in all sectors and touches all aspects of life and society. So for African societies, this is a game changer, and there's no way of opting out. From our perspective, the question is more, how much do we want to opt in, and how much can we help to shape a beneficial common future?
Yes, absolutely. You don't need to be an IT fanatic to take up a role in digitalization, as said recently by the Belgian Young ICT Lady of the Year. All members of society, no matter their age or educational background, have to be able to obtain digital skills, to develop competitive advantages for an increasingly digital world, a global job market, and to navigate the digital realm safely. That's why this action targets the socio-economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and focuses specifically on two important entry points, the health and the education sectors. So, what does Germany focus on, Jan?
Under the present project, GIZ focuses on the education sector. Here we've started using the well-known fund approach, already used by the Backup Initiative. This has more than 10 years of experience in the education sector, and the fund can be scaled easily in the future. So public and civil society partners here can request support for their ideas via an open call for proposals. The call has already been launched earlier this year, and we've already received lots of promising ideas.
Okay, so we at Enable, we are doing a deep dive in capacity building and implementation of digital tools. We focus on technical and vocational training and health. We do this while leaving no one behind, taking a gender-balanced approach and emphasizing digital skills. Also, we will organize together with you, Jan, several exchanges to talk about our lessons learned. But it should not stop there.
Oh, absolutely. Besides access to the internet, in fact, digital skills are the beginning of everything in the digital world. So if African countries want to shape their own models of a digital society, they definitely have to heavily invest in digital skills of the entire population. So we have to further build on this action. And from German side, we can already say that we are exploring options for further activities to strengthen digital skills, literally from cradle to grave. And we know Belgium is doing the same, isn't that true?
Yes, because apart from being football matches, we also see huge opportunities for joint European action. Through the D4D Hub, we reach out to other member states to mobilize further commitment as a joint contribution to a Pan-African initiative. So please have a look at our videos now to learn more about our action, and thank you for watching this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you to the colleagues from Enable and GIZ for this very impressive overview and showcase of Team Europe. We will now hear more about basic education projects from the field. Firstly, Priska Randrianarizon from the Ministry of National Education of Madagascar, followed by Grant Gazoveniete from South Africa.
Bonjour à toutes et à tous, je vous adresse les salutations de Madagascar. Je suis Priska Randrianarizon du ministère de l'Éducation nationale. J'assure le rôle de collaboratrice au sein de la cellule de coordination du pilotage du secteur de l'éducation et également point focal pour le partenariat mondial pour l'éducation de Madagascar. Nous sommes un partenaire de longue durée de l'initiative Backup Education, travaillons ensemble sur l'éducation en Afrique. Nous avons toujours apprécié la combinaison du soutien qu'a obtenu Madagascar de Backup par des mesures concrètes avec les réseaux régionaux, avec d'autres pays africains qui ont été établis par l'initiative Backup Education. Et de cela, beaucoup d'idées et de collaborations se sont développées. Avec mes collègues de toute l'Afrique, nous avons toujours espéré la poursuite de notre travail avec l'initiative Backup Education. Et je suis reconnaissante que Madagascar ait été choisi par l'Union européenne et l'Allemagne comme pays de projet de l'action Resicodi. En effet, le sujet sur les solutions numériques est très important pour l'éducation dans notre contexte. Et pour l'action Resicodi, nous développons actuellement une proposition de projet sur la meilleure façon d'intégrer l'approche numérique de la planification de l'éducation à long terme. Cela vise essentiellement le cursus learning pour les élèves et les étudiants apprenants et le renforcement des capacités des enseignants. Nous nous réjouissons de la poursuite de notre collaboration. Ensemble pour l'éducation. Et comme dit un dicton malagasy, disperser n'est que poussière et ensemble nous formons un roc. Je vous remercie.
Greetings from Johannesburg, South Africa. My name is Grant Ziyepekaswanjete and I'm the Global Coordinator for GCE. GCE is a worldwide network of civil society that are striving to end exclusion in education. We are a long-term partner for the GIZ Backup Education Initiative, and together we have implemented various programs that have gone to support our civil society coalitions at a national level to advance their campaign and advocacy work. We are so thankful to EU and the German government for the additional support that has been provided through the RESICO framework of action. This is a program that will focus on the rolling out of digitalization in public education setting. As GCE, we have submitted a proposal to this program, but also in addition to that, we are also supporting 8 national coalitions who will also be beneficiaries to this. Our support is going towards the preparation of the proposal, but also we will go further to support them through their implementation of the program. One of such exciting program will come from Malawi, where they will focus on digitalization of their curriculum, teacher training on digital skills, but also awareness within their communities, teachers and learners through radio and TV. We are so excited with this program, and we believe that this program will go further, and that our relationship with the GIZ Backup Initiative will continue in the nearest future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Enable is implementing TVET and e-health part of the RESICO action. We will now discover how the implementation is going in the next video messages. Let's start with diving deeper in the role of digital tools in TVET by a perspective from Burundi.
Le programme multipays RESICODI a été initié pour répondre aux différents gaps de digitalisation pendant cette période pandémique dans le domaine de la santé et de l'éducation. Le programme RESICODI apporte un soutien à plusieurs pays africains, parmi lesquels le Burundi, la République démocratique du Congo et le Rwanda.
COVID-19 has a negative impact on development in many African countries. Poverty is expected to rise for the first time in over 20 years. And access to public services like education and health is more limited than before. So we know that digitization can help. In Europe, despite all the difficulties, people were able to keep their jobs, and have access to education and schools and health online from their home. So there is still a big digital gap in Africa, and projects like ResiCODI can help build resilience of populations and invest in digital solutions and skills training that will improve not only the access, but also the quality of education and health.
S'appuyant sur les acquis des programmes en cours, Enabel met l'accent sur l'accès à une éducation et à un enseignement technique et professionnel de qualité, enjeu crucial pour le développement économique et social des bénéficiaires. Il fournit alors aux jeunes adultes ayant des compétences et des connaissances humaines les outils pour faire face aux défis et aux crises à venir, tout en contribuant au développement d'une main-d'œuvre qualifiée. Dans le cadre du projet ResiCODI, l'accès aux aptitudes numériques dans les centres de formation professionnelle est élargi et renforcé en intégrant la dimension genre. Au Burundi, 8 nouveaux centres de formation professionnelle sont appuyés à travers des actions visant le renforcement de la filière TIC d'agents opérateurs en bureautique, l'accès au contenu d'apprentissage numérique en ligne au moyen de bibliothèques numériques IDS Cube et le renforcement de lieux d'apprentissage numérique sous forme de salles multimédia. Les bibliothèques numériques IDS Cube sont configurées avec des contenus liés aux métiers enseignés, comprenant des formations d'accompagnement et de suivi-évaluation. Le projet ResiCODI au Burundi va renforcer les capacités d'au moins 115 formateurs dans les centres de formation professionnelle. Grâce à nos espaces d'apprentissage innovants, 500 apprenants auront accès à des outils et formations numériques. Enabel fait recours aux partenaires d'exécution dans la numérisation et collabore avec l'ONG Bibliothèques sans frontières pour les bibliothèques numériques hors ligne, l'entreprise sociale internationale Close the Gap pour des équipements informatiques recyclés de haute qualité pour le renforcement des capacités. La digitalisation permet un apprentissage plus accessible, plus personnalisé et mieux adapté à l'approche des générations actuelles en matière de développement professionnel continu. Le projet ResiCODI offre donc une opportunité pour les jeunes Burundais d'intégrer un marché du travail en transition et pour le secteur de l'EFTP dans son ensemble de devenir plus résilient.
Next, we will be hearing from our partners in Rwanda on the topic of e-health.
Enabel had supported the construction of a state-of-the-art hospital in one of the districts in Kigali, Nyarugenge district, and we implemented a hospital management information system with an electronic medical record which is used to capture all the information that's related to the patients. All the patients are COVID patients, so all the information that's captured throughout the whole journey of the patient.
The software is called Open Clinic. It's actually a kind of electronic medical records. On a regular basis, you can tell how many patients came into the hospital, how many actually died, how many were discharged out of the hospital. You can tell by bringing those data. You can also tell, for instance, how many patients, let's say for instance, came in with COVID and another disease.
Enabel came up with digital health interventions to help with the response to COVID, given the need that arose, the fact that COVID demonstrated to us that we need to use information systems. We need data. We need to be as paperless as possible. We need to have information that's available in real time.
This is one of the very important fact that we can extract from this software, because it can generate all those information once entered accurately by either a doctor or any other person who knows how to enter those data.
Enabel has been supporting the Rwanda Biomedical Center, which is the agency in charge of responding to every epidemic or pandemic, but in this particular case with COVID. One of the interventions that we supported is the development of a vaccine registration and certification platform, whereby when somebody is vaccinated, they are given a unique number, they get into the system, they can download their certificate, and they can use it for various reasons, be it for travel, for any other reason.
Shyiramo kode yawe, ariyo kode ya yindi biri kuri ya link, message umaze kubona yuko wikingiye, igahita ikubwira ngo view certificate, reba aho certificate yawe, hitamo akanda, ihita inyereka ngo icyemezo cy'uwakingiwe.
This is just one of the interventions amongst many others that the government of Rwanda has implemented to fight this pandemic, and we hope that we are contributing to the fight of the pandemic, and hopefully we'll get it out of the way very soon.
The showcased projects demonstrate that digital tools and actions play a viable role in creating access to such important topics as education and health. Digitalization can provide the necessary feature to continue and even improve access to education. The EU COVID-19 response covers a variety of partners, nations and regions. We will now move from Africa to the wider ACP region. ACP is an important region for the EU cooperation where several programs are funded. This includes the ACP EU COVID-19 Digital Response Program. We will now hear from Assistant Secretary General of the Organization of ACP, Mr. Oliveira Gomes, Director of Department of Energy and Digital Transition of AFD, Mr. Barral, and Managing Director of Enabel, Mr. Van Better. The floor is yours. Is your microphone possible? Please unmute your microphone. Can we move on to the second speaker?
Hello? Yes, sorry for that.
Okay, now
Good
we
morning
hear
to all. I am honored to be here today with my colleagues from the Agence Française de Développement and the Belgian Development Agency, Enabel, in representation of His Excellency, Mr. George Revelo Pinto Chicote, Secretary General of the OECPS. For over a year now, COVID-19 has eroded all economic, social interactions on a global level, reaffirming that global challenges cannot be successfully addressed by one sector, country, region, or continent. Every day, our globalized and interconnected world calls for us to address the most important challenges together. In this context, digital technologies have been crucial in helping us to overcome many of the challenges brought about by the pandemic, as lockdowns, movement restrictions, curfews, supply chain disruptions, shutdowns of public services, as well as educational institutions. While global digital resilience has been enhanced, there is still work to be done, especially in enabling the most vulnerable members of our society, such as women and youth, in accessing tailor-made digital solutions with a view to reducing the economic, social, and gender-based digital divide. In this context, the OCPS and the European Union have joined forces with the highly experienced AFD and Enabel to implement a comprehensive program to support digital resilience in our member states, which we are proud to present here today.
Thank you, ACPN. The Agence Française de Développement is indeed proud to partner with Enabel for this strategic project. We have combined our networks and relationships to engage with partners in all three ACP regions. We have also combined our know-how. AFD is increasingly committed to digitalization. More than a third of our projects have a digital component, and the AFD Group has invested more than 60 million euro in digital startups since 2018.
Yeah, indeed, Jean-Pierre. This action will allow us to strengthen our cooperation in the field of digitalization. We will learn along from the programs, and we will share our best practices and lessons learned. We will do this across our organizations, partners, and other D4D initiatives such as the Residicodi program we just saw. And of course, with the Digital for Development platform, funded among others by Enable and AFD.
The first challenge to the use of digital technologies is, of course, accessing the internet. And this program will work to improve the connectivity of administration, such as health center, health administration, and universities. Connectivity is essential, but not sufficient. And the program will also support the adoption of digital tools that support COVID-19 response. We will, for instance, work on regional health monitoring systems and the capacity of institutions to carry out real-time response to an emerging public health threat.
Another objective of the program is to strengthen digital services to promote the continuity and quality of education, especially by supporting EdTech solutions. Enable believes that digital skills are the cornerstone of an inclusive and sustainable digital transformation in the spirit of leaving no one behind.
Micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, especially those run by the most vulnerable members of our society, have suffered the most from the economic downfall of the pandemic. Hence, the need to develop strategies to support them in achieving their digital integration and our transition.
Yes, Expertise France, which is the technical expertise agency of the AFD Group, will support SMEs, for instance, to improve online marketing and sales, which usually requires an upgrade of the SME payment systems and logistics. This work is in line with AFD conviction that digital economy is a huge reservoir of new services and jobs, especially for the youth.
Indeed, Belgium and Enable believe that the digital economy has a strong potential to alleviate poverty, as barriers to entry are typically low and access to larger international markets is easier. As such, Enable supports inclusive digital entrepreneurship, focusing on women and girls and the link with the green economy. Furthermore, we consider that digital technologies have an added value to tackle the global challenges we see today, and Enable will continue to invest in digital development and collaborating in the spirit of partnerships through the D4D Hub, as well as with innovators on the African continent.
We are convinced that our joint efforts will improve the lives and livelihoods of many OECPS citizens through the development and sharing of best practices and fostering a human-centric digital transformation, which will in turn reduce the socioeconomic development gap with special attention to the needs of women and girls. United, we stand.
Thank you, ACP, and I really share your enthusiasm. And I have now the pleasure to announce that Enable will start the first activities of this joint project by mobilizing its D4D flagship program, We Hub It. Allow me to give the floor to my colleague, Arnaud Leclerc, Program Manager of the We Hub It program, who will tell us more about this initiative.
Thank you very much for this impressive look into the ACP EU COVID-19 Digital Response Program that has impact on many people and partners. Next, we will hear from Mr. Arnaud Leclerc, who is We Hub It Manager from Enable. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jean. It is a true pleasure to be here today to announce the launch of the first activities under the ACP EU project through Enable's We Hub It program. We Hub It is a multi-country competitive fund with a focus on identifying and scaling up digital social innovations. By that, we mean innovations that use digital technologies to tackle societal challenges. Through our We Hub It program, we support initiatives that are aligned with our guiding principles, such as a human rights-based approach and leaving no one behind. Today, WeHabit launches a call for proposals focusing on EdTech, addressing the challenges in terms of continuity and quality of public education services that were created or accelerated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Moreover, the call looks for digital social innovations that are contributing to inclusion of vulnerable groups, such as women, youth, refugees, or people with disabilities or others. Thank you very much.
According to the United Nations, 1.37 billion students around the world are now home as COVID-19 school closures expand. More than ever, digital solutions are needed to ensure that education, as a public social service, continues, and that access for learners from all backgrounds is ensured. You got a digital solution but lack support? Apply to our new call for proposals on technologies of education. We are looking for digital projects that ensure inclusive and equitable quality education. Would you like to know more? It's easy. Go to wehabit.be, read carefully the guidelines, and fill in the online application form. Complete your online application form no later than 30th of July 2021.
In our fights against the COVID pandemic, one of the key aspects is surveilling and monitoring the spread of the virus. Digitalization has a key part to play here. Next up, we have on the line Jochen Schmidt, who is component manager in GIZ for the IGAD region. Jochen, what is the current situation in East Africa with regards to the COVID-19 pandemic, and can you give us the background of your intervention on surveillance and monitoring the COVID-19 disease?
Currently, East Africa is facing the third wave with the potential Delta variant more on the rise. So governments' interventions are at a limit right now with the limited capacities. The governments try to do their best to tackle the situation. We are part of the IGAD organization here in the Horn of Africa. IGAD is the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, and it has a membership of 7 countries, which has given IGAD the mandate to particularly look at cross-border surveillance of the spread of the virus. And in this regard, we are working with IGAD and the member states to get a better handle on what is happening on the spread of the virus in the border regions, and we use digital technology to actually tackle this.
What is the current state of play of your project? Which challenges have you experienced?
Yeah, we're currently implementing in 2 countries, particularly in the Ugandan and Kenyan border region. And we are also looking at a framework that enables us to actually make this interregional program happen. So we need to have a policy in place that helps to share health data in the region with other member countries. And right now we are working on rolling this policy out. We are we also understand that we have a diverse portfolio in front of us with 7 countries. Not all of the countries are the same. We have stronger countries like Kenya and weaker areas that are, for example, Somalia or South Sudan, where digitalization plays not such a big role yet. And we need to implement in these different contexts. This is our biggest challenge.
How do you see the potential of such digital solutions, especially in the East African region?
I think the potential is really big, particularly also in areas which are more remote and rural, to bring to actually have data available in these regions, digitalization plays a big role. So we see in the future that digitalization of healthcare information and healthcare data is really of importance to bridge the gaps that are already existing and to make fast decisions possible by bringing data, pulling data together and helping governments and administrations to make decisions that potentially can save lives, particularly in this epidemic.
As there is a new health data policy in place now, what do you expect towards the future of digital health in the region?
So the regional health data sharing policy that is now rolled out will help that further solutions can actually take place in the region. So we see that not only this COVID-19 surveillance and monitoring solution is important here, but also it gives a platform for the further development of other healthcare solutions that are available in the region or can be made available in the region. So I think this is quite a good foundation for a further integration of the region, particularly also in the area of healthcare, and it creates a foundation for further exploration in this field in the region.
Thank you very much, Jochen, for sharing the experience from IGAD region.
Dear Ms. Urpilainen, dear Mr. Andre, dear Team Europe colleagues, dear partners from the digital ecosystem. Rarely we have been made so aware of how much our fate depends on science and digital innovation as we were last year during the pandemic. New vaccines were developed in record time and the digital changed our work and private lives. We learned that cooperation and communication play key roles in the global fight against COVID and how digital innovations can strengthen this cooperation by overcoming borders and bringing us closer together. Today's event shows the impressive impacts we can have if we join forces as Team Europe to enable leapfrogging. 206 million people were reached through projects supported by the EU Commission and Member States in the global pandemic response. And almost 700 citizens in 42 countries have benefited directly from these activities. This is why digital development is a key priority for GIZ, and we are hosting the Global D4D Hub Secretariat. Together with EU member states and other implementing agencies, we have developed innovative digital solutions to support partner countries that are grappling with the socio-economic consequences of the pandemic. For this, we must make sure that our interventions are coherent and scaled towards an ecosystem approach that mainstreams digital for different priority areas. Let me give you 3 examples. First, COVID surveillance management. With the SORMAS software, we developed a powerful tool for real-time monitoring and early detection of disease outbreaks through the collection of case-based data. The implementation of SORMAS is a great example of mutual support. Rolled out successfully in Ghana and Nigeria, the system was so impactful that it is now used by over 200 health institutions in Germany to monitor new SARS-CoV-2 outbreaks. Secondly, health and education. With a focus on digital solutions and digital skills, the Backup initiative, as part of the EU Action RISI-CODI, now addresses the global digital transformation process in a world during and beyond COVID. With requests from all 8 project partner countries, the Backup initiative can potentially affect 33 million students and learners, increase their global competition chances on the labor market, and ensure citizens navigate in the digital realm safely and aware of their rights. Finally, empowering youth and education. With the Smart Development Hack, a true Team Europe initiative with over 50 partners, we received 1,000 ideas and incubated 9 multi-stakeholder solutions that strengthened digital COVID responses across the world. For example, through the digital youth marketplace Yoma, we empowered more than 250,000 young people to date. And as you will see in a minute, we accelerated learning to earning pathways and supported youth to build a future beyond the pandemic. And let me use this opportunity to thank my following speaker, General Director of UNICEF, Ms. Henrietta Fore, for this successful cooperation with Yoma. These examples are not only a successful proof of the effectiveness of digital innovations, but also a proof of an effective collaboration with our partners and a good example that development cooperation is fast, agile and innovative approach on a global scale. Dear partners, let's continue in this Team Europe spirit to scale digital innovations for joint global challenges like the COVID-19 response. We are looking forward to implementing the D4D Hub with our Team Europe partners to enable leapfrogging for our partners. We rely on you all in our aim to working better together through the D4D Hub for our vision to shape a sustainable digital future for all. Thank you so much.
Team Europe projects were also responding to emergency challenges through innovative approaches. For this, Smart Development Hack was implemented already 1 year ago. Let us look at the impressive impacts of the 9 winning projects of the Smart Development Hack, followed by a video showcasing project implementation and interventions by Executive Director of UNICEF and Generation Unlimited.
COVID-19 is a worldwide challenge. In response, the Smart Development Fund is fostering 9 digital solutions. The hotline call versus Corona, the audio learning platform Audiopedia, the online marketplace Digital Agriculture Africa, the matchmaking platform for healthcare services, the life-saving drone and data aid, the digital enquire kit against misinformation, the voice-based chatbot, the initiative empowering rural women entrepreneurs, the learning to earning marketplace Yoma. We are reaching 450,000 individuals, more than 120 institutions, and at least 40% women. Scaling innovation in an interconnected world. Smart Development Fund.
We will now hear from one of the main cooperation partners of the Yoma project, UNICEF. We are happy to have the Executive Director, Henrietta Fore, to join us, as well as Kevin Frey from the Generation Unlimited.
COVID-19 has had a devastating impact on young people, disrupting their education, affecting their job opportunities and livelihoods, and having impacts on their physical and mental health. Supporting young people over long distances and through pandemic lockdowns meant going digital. UNICEF and our partners, including the EU, took a number of steps to do this, including reimagining education through school connectivity and scaling up online learning tools, and including the youth agency marketplace, Yoma. Yoma was one of the winners of the Smart Hackathon, generously supported by the German government and the European Commission, and co-created with young people themselves, along with UNICEF, Generation Unlimited, and our partners at GIZ and the Botner Foundation. This innovative digital marketplace is centered on young people's needs. It connects them to opportunities to make a difference in their communities and to get involved, to create local solutions that can help other young people while acquiring important skills they can carry with them to the job market. One Yoma offering was the COVID-19 challenge, which gave over 80,000 young people the chance to identify local solutions to help their communities during the COVID-19 lockdowns. Another example is the Green Nigeria Challenge. It brought together young Nigerians to perform climate-related tasks in their communities. You will see a video from the winner of this challenge in a few minutes. Young people who participate in Yoma are given digital tokens, and their work is recorded on blockchain, helping them build digital resumes that they can share with employers. In just 1 year, more than 250,000 young people took part. Yoma is a great example of a youth-centered initiative that will bring the Generation Unlimited partnership to life by bringing together governments, development partners, private sector, and young people themselves. We can support young people through and beyond the pandemic, and we can help them acquire the skills that they will need for the future. UNICEF looks forward to working with our partners across Europe to continue this important work through Yoma and to find more ways to support every country's greatest resource, the energy and ideas of young people. Thank you.
Youth have been disproportionately affected by COVID-19. In 2020, young people were 3 times as likely to be unemployed as adults. Recognizing this, at Generation Unlimited, we revisited our strategy to focus on connecting youth to opportunities for skilling, employment, and social impact. We do this by bringing together diverse partners from across sectors to develop and scale solutions to solve issues that youth are facing. You just heard UNICEF Executive Director Forum mention the Youth Agency Marketplace. This is one solution that's critical to Generation Unlimited's work to help youth become change makers and to enhance their sense of agency. Yoma is a great example of Generation Unlimited in action, as it brings together an entire ecosystem of partners to equip young people with a set of skills and competencies to compete globally and locally. Yoma does this by surrounding youth with opportunities to grow, achieve social impact, and to thrive. These opportunities are provided by partners from all sectors, including the private sector. One example opportunity was the Better Together campaign, where over 125,000 youth from 49 countries participated in professional development opportunities in response to COVID-19's impact on education and employment. Over 40 different partners joined this initiative. Another example was the Reimagine Your Future Challenge, focused on youth agency. In this challenge, 34,000 youth from 80 countries gained knowledge and skills to support them in realizing their dreams by uncovering their talents and aspirations in an empowered journey from learning to earning. 94% of participants indicated a high degree of confidence in their achieving their aspirations after the challenge. As a founding member of Yoma, Generation Unlimited will continue to use its convening power to bring new partners into the ecosystem with a particular focus on the private sector. Genu would like to thank the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, the European Commission, and GIZ for their support, in particular for the recognition of Yoma and its potential during the Smart Development Hackathon. We would also like to commend the EU's timely and ambitious digital agenda and digital response to COVID-19 that put young people at the center of the recovery.
Now we are getting concrete. One component of interaction and learning on Yoma are the so-called challenges. This is the input from Rahima, who won last year's Better Together Africa Challenge.
A lot of people do not visit the hospitals when they're sick. Some people might be too busy to visit a hospital. So many hospitals have really long queues that you have to wait for hours before you get to see the doctor. Weeks ago, I had a story of a woman who had a boil in her private area, It was so big that she couldn't even walk. She couldn't walk down to work and had to take permission for a few days. People advised her to go see a doctor, and she kept saying no, she didn't need to see a doctor. She could treat herself at home. That's because she was shy. It doesn't actually make sense, but she was shy. People end up self-medicating because of all these issues. Imagine if you could actually bring the hospital to her. My elevator page is about creating an online platform or an online clinic that you always run to and that needs a physical visit. The doctors will come to you. You can get your drugs prescribed and then delivered to you in the house. It would also include a mobile lab that could come collect samples and even bring the results.
We are steadily coming to the culmination of the event. The experience that all partners have learned and demonstrated from the joint Team Europe approach will hopefully foster collaboration for digital innovations into the COVAX campaign. As mentioned earlier by Commissioner Urpilainen, there is a new frontier of opportunities for the Team Europe to support the deployment and monitoring of vaccines. The D4D Hub demonstrates a significant commitment from the Member States and the Commission to cooperate towards making digital transformation a reality in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Sweden saw the D4D Hub as a vital platform to join forces for digital action with tangible impact and for digital cooperation in response to the pandemic through the COVAX Traceability Initiative. With its agile function, the Hub has created a space where European and international actors have connected, mobilized, and worked together to find synergies to make vaccine traceability a new sense of urgency. Together with Germany and other partners from the D4D Hub, Sweden will continue to drive this work forward. I will now pass the floor to Jan Baller from DG INPA to introduce Team Europe response in the field of digital health.
Thanks a lot for the invitation and the kind introduction. And it's true that the sheer scale of the COVID-19 pandemic has naturally brought us together over a year ago. The European Commission, the EU member states, and the EU financial institutions like the European Investment Bank and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. We all joined forces together to tackle the pandemic together through a Team Europe approach that has been highlighted by many speakers. After over a year, we have now reoriented and allocated more than 40 billion euros to tackle the humanitarian, the health, and the socio-economic consequences of the pandemic. And digitalization has played a key role in the different programs, as colleagues have described it so elegantly during this event. And Team Europe has emerged from the pandemic, and now that we are looking at how to end it quickly, a key lesson learned that we will continue to integrate in our program is the same. Together, we have committed over 3 billion euros to COVAX for COVID vaccines, and will donate over 100 million vaccines through Team Europe before the end of the year. But this unprecedented scale of global vaccination requires a thorough planning, and health systems bottlenecks need to be overcome. And this is where digital health tools show their instrumental role. They allow, for instance, vaccination campaign microplanning through GIS-based digital mapping, or to train health workers at unprecedented scale through e-learning methods. At a time where the EU digital COVID vaccine certificate is being deployed across Europe, it is important that we ensure interoperability with other vaccine certificates. And we need to ensure that the detection of counterfeit vaccines happens as they're rolled out globally. Through a Team Europe initiative, we in DG INPA in the European Commission, in collaboration with the member states, the financial institutions, and the D4D Hub, confirm our commitment to digital health, to fight the pandemic in the short term, and to strengthen health systems in the medium and long term. As from the onset of the pandemic, joining forces through a Team Europe initiative for digital health is instrumental to achieve a transformative impact. Propose a wide range of European solutions, guaranteeing EU values and standards, data protection and privacy, equality and equity, non-discrimination, cybersecurity, and trust. So I'll invite yet again all EU member states who wish to join this Team Europe initiative. And I would like to pass the floor to our Team Europe partners, the European Investment Bank, represented by Maria Shaw Barragan, to illustrate our engagement in digital health. Many thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Baller. The D4D Hub lives through its partners, the European Development Finance institutions, and in particular the European Investment Bank, are key partners in this multi-stakeholder approach. The floor is now with Maria Shaw Barragan from the EIB. Can you please unmute?
Okay, yeah, now it works. Thank you. Thank you very much and good morning to everyone. It's fantastic to be with you today. And yes, the European Investment Bank, we are the EU bank, so it's not surprising that we joined the D4D Hub to play our role alongside INTPA and the EU member states. And the point is, digital is a priority area for the EIB because of its strong transformational effect and how it helps to deliver on development and on inclusion. So an inclusive and sustainable development. And in this sense, we will be making available to all the partners in the hub our expertise, our know-how, and our financing strength. And just to put things in context, in the last 10 years, the European Investment Bank has approved over 30 billion euro of financing in the digital economic sector. And over the last few months, 1 billion, almost 1 billion of this was approved for Africa. And let me give you some very specific examples. One that is very close to my heart is in Nigeria, the development of digital identity cards. So Nigerians, and if you are a girl born in Nigeria, if you don't have your identity card, you will not have access to education, you will not have access to vaccines and health treatment, you will not be able to vote. So all of the European values are reliant on having rights and existing. And for this, having an identity card is going to be crucial. So this is how the European Investment Bank applies European values in its operations. And another very recent example that was approved by our board last month is about supporting a European vendor in this sector that is often very much led by non-Europeans. When we have European champions, we need to be supporting them financially. We are involved in many projects in the digital sector. And one element that is clear to us is that project preparation is crucial. And that is why we have established the Africa Digital Transformation Initiative, which is a technical assistance facility where we are supporting project preparation studies, digital policy and regulatory capacity building, including in cybersecurity, by the way, and offering support to innovation and to entrepreneurship with regard to digital applications. And all the knowledge that we will gather from this technical assistance, we will be sharing with the D4D Hub partners as part of our Team Europe contribution. There was the mention already of Sweden and this discussion about track and trace solutions. We're working together with INTPA and with the Swedish government to see how the European Investment Bank can contribute in this area as well. And let me refer to a study that we carried out already in 2020, last year, and that we published in July 2020, so it's almost a year ago, that is about Africa digital solutions to tackle COVID-19. This was conducted with the help of UNDP and with an external consultant in over 30 African countries. We surveyed them, and in this study, we present how digital technology solutions can help African countries become more resilient against this and future pandemics. And we estimated that the investments required to carry out the essential digital solutions across the African continent for pandemic preparedness were in the region of 680 million euro. So it is not a huge amount. The problem is that most African countries are facing budgetary constraints. And as of today, much of this amount is still needed in terms of investments. So we do need to step up. We need to step up our project preparation capacity and our financing capacity. And you can count on the EIB to continue to work with public and with private sector investors to increase financing in the healthcare sector, but also in manufacturing in Africa and in innovative technologies and digital solutions. We believe that in the Team Europe spirit, this partnership that we have running and with dedicated platforms like the D4D Hub, we can achieve this goal together with our African partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you to the EIB for these remarks and very concrete examples. I will now hand over the floor to Mr. Thierry Barbe, who will recap what we have heard in the past hour and will introduce the outlook for the D4D Hub ahead.
Can you hear me? Yes. Dear participants, speakers and organizers, here we are at the end of this excellent event, 1 year of digital EU response to COVID-19. Let me thank, on behalf of the European Commission, the speakers today and all the partners in Europe and in Africa and to some extent in ACP, with whom we work closely to give shape to the digital response projects presented today. Thanks to the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States, or ACPS here, represented with Mr. Gomez, Assistant Secretary General. In particular, thanks also to the Portuguese Presidency, the Secretary of State, Francisco André, and to Portuguese Presidency for the nice collaboration over these months and for co-hosting this event right before the end of the EU Portuguese Presidency term. Also, my appreciation goes to the Global D4D Hub Secretariat, to which, as newly, to which, as of now, greatly contributes our German partner BMZ through GIZ, and to our Estonian colleague from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Oskar Vilsar, for the excellent moderation. Today is an important opportunity to reinstate the importance of digital technology and solutions for our societies. How crucial they have been over the course of this pandemic. We kept economic activities running. We stayed socially connected. We were able to access basic services such as education and healthcare. The event has showcased what contribution can be put in place to fight back the pandemics and to build resilient economies and societies. The EU and its member states not only worked in a partnership spirit with many of the stakeholders of partner countries, but also worked together as a Team Europe. What the Team Europe achieved here is also thanks to D4D Hub. The Hub offers a platform not only for action, but also for dialogue and coordination of European partners and regional counterparts. The D4D Hub is a catalyzer of resources and expertise from all its members, allowing achievements of better partnership and a greater impact. Through the projects presented today, we estimated that over 200 million people in 42 countries were reached directly and indirectly by the digital EU response to COVID-19. And more will come. More countries have requested support from the ongoing programs, and we expect to reach over 30 million people. That's not all. More digital intervention I expect for the future, thanks to the new Global Europe and DIKI financial resources for 2021-2027, those of EU member states and other European and local partners. The EU intends to focus on proposing digital partnerships along key priorities, policy and regulatory frameworks, digital connectivity, digital skills, innovation and entrepreneurship, as well as e-service and applications. The D4D Hub will be instrumental in fostering the Team Europe digital engagement. It will bring the opportunities offered by the EU digital transformation to Africa and beyond. In fact, the D4D Hub is already moving steps towards other regions of the world. The Latin American Caribbean branch of the D4D Hub is underway, building on the momentum of the Bella project and of the LAC Digital Alliance. By the way, the LA Link cable was inaugurated only in June recently. Yes, some key lessons can be drawn from this year of pandemic and responses. From an EU perspective, the Team Europe is the new normal. It is a permanent shift in the European way of cooperating and founding international partnerships. At all levels, the EU and its members will work jointly, pooling resources and expertise to advance a human-centric model of digital transformation. This will be done, of course, in close partnerships with national, local, regional authorities, with key stakeholders from the private sector, the civil society, and from the research, among others. Through this multi-stakeholder approach, the D4D Hub in particular may leverage a significant part of the digital ecosystems. And a final word, let me congratulate the D4D Hub for the launch of the new D4D Hub website. I'm glad to announce that, as of now, you can follow the progress of D4D Hub at d4dhub.eu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Barba. I must say I'm very impressed by the projects showcased today and their tangible results and lessons learned for future challenges. It is only the beginning. One thing we are all taking away from this is that we work better together in addressing challenges such as the COVID pandemic as Team Europe. The approach is still fresh, however, already demonstrating impact that we can collectively offer. We will be in touch through the new D4D Hub website, d4dhub.eu, that was just launched by Thierry Barba, and look forward to leveraging this platform to build the D4D Hub's vision of a sustainable digital future for all. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we look forward to working together and seeing you at the next D4D Hub event. Good afternoon to everyone.